Howdy, friends, and welcome to another historic destination in the great state of Texas. Caprock Canyons State Park has a rich history rooted in the Old West, complete with geologic wonder, primitive tribes, Spanish conquistadors, cowboys, Indians, cattle barons, and one of the mammoths of the Southwest Plains, the American bison. Our adventure lies about 170 miles southwest of Oklahoma City, 190 miles northwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the panhandle of Texas. Caprock Canyons is about 100 miles away from both Amarillo and Lubbock, where the Caprock meets the northern rolling plains of Texas. The park can be reached by driving Highway 86 east out of Silverton or west out of Turkey, Texas, to the quiet town of Quitaquay. A short 2 miles up Farm to Market Road 1065 takes you to the park entrance and the visitor center. The unique geography here, where the Caprock Escarpment makes a bold statement, is seen in its reddish splendor. Looking from high above, you can see the zipper-like formation that runs north to south from northeast of Amarillo and southward toward Lubbock, as noted by the yellow arrows. This escarpment was formed by erosion 1 to 2 million years ago and carved by rivers such as the Prairie Dog Fork of the Red River, which flows east, forming the border between Texas and Oklahoma as it flows to the Mississippi. Polladura Canyon, the second largest canyon in the United States, sits to the north of Quitaquay and just 25 miles south of Amarillo. With elevations of 3,600 feet in Amarillo and 3,200 feet in Lubbock, and dropping to 1,700 feet in Abilene, there are cliffs as high as 1,000 feet along its ridges. Over 12,000 years ago, prehistoric nomadic hunters followed early herds of mammoth, camel, horses, and great bison and other game animals in this area. The Spanish explorer Coronado came through this area in 1541, where many Plains Apache Indians lived before being pushed out by the Comanche and Kiowa Indian tribes. These tribes followed the massive herds of some 40 to 60 million American bison living in the Great Plains, which stretched all the way to Canada. The Indians wintered in these canyons and used them to contain the thousands of wild horses they captured and trained. The Comanche Indian has been recognized as the Lord of the Plains, as they became known as the greatest horsemen to ever live. They rode bareback and would shoot arrows from underneath their horses or under their necks. The U.S. military became involved in Indian affairs as settlers moved into this area in the 1800s and conflicts with Indians increased. Defending their land and their way of life, great Indian chiefs like Quanah Parker fought viciously to protect their tribes and the bison they depended on. In 1874, the U.S. Army surprised the last tribe of Coyote Comanches in Polladura Canyon and burned all their food and killed over 1,200 Comanche horses. With winter coming and no food or horses, Quanah Parker brokered peace with the U.S. government to preserve his people's existence. They were the last band of Indians in the United States to surrender. The massive herds of bison in this area were hunted nearly to extinction between 1876 and 1878. Local cattleman Charles Goodnight moved cattle into the area in 1876 and bought vast parcels of land in the area. He and his wife Mary Ann also began raising orphan bison and built a herd of a genetic species called the Southern Plains Bison, which grew to about 250 head. The land was purchased by the state of Texas in 1975, and in 1982, this 15,314 acres became known as Caprock Canyons State Park. In 1997, Goodnight's bison herd was moved to Caprock Canyons to preserve and protect this official state bison herd. Bison roam the park freely and walk many of the steep trails and roadways, so don't be in a hurry, because many times the bison are not. You will see not only bison, but some pronghorn antelope, coyotes, foxes, burrowing owls, and the chicken nuggets of the plains, the prairie dog. Let's look at the park map and begin our tour. The park today has 148 campsites with 35 electric sites, 12 equestrian sites, and 94 primitive tent sites. It also has numerous hiking trails. Once you pay your registration and view the visitor center, you will come to Lake Theo, which is a dammed up portion of Holmes Creek. There are shelters and a nice day use area with a playground on the west side of the lake. As we continue on the road, we see the amphitheater and the accessible path to it. Along this road, we will pass the Honey Flats campground, which we will come back to. The restroom is nice, wheelchair accessible, and also includes showers. There's also a big playground and a small prairie dog village here. Driving north, we can begin to see the cliffs off to the west. We pass the Wild Horse camping area, which has camping sites for those with horses. This area connects to the 64-mile-long trailway, which was an old railroad route between the station of South Plains to the west and Esteline to the east. It is open to bikes, hikers, and horsemen alike, and has primitive camping along the way. Next, we go down the steep grade and head to the west. We pass the Little Red Tent camping area and up to the parking lot of the North Prong Primitive Camping Area and Trailhead. Campsites here are all walk-in. Continuing west, you come to the South Prong tent camping area and another trailhead into the steep and very rugged trails into the Red Canyon areas. There are all types of vegetation that you would expect in this arid area. Let's take a tour of the main camping area, Honey Flat, beginning with site number 1. All of the sites have water and electric, and you can check out my campsite worksheet found in the description of this video. It has specific information for each individual campsite. Most of the sites are flat and fairly large. They aren't packed together too tightly either. Driveway sizes are noted on the park website. You will notice at most of the campsites that the asphalt and gravel mixture is packed down pretty tight. You'll also notice that shade varies from campsite to campsite, but most of the sites at least have the covered picnic table to provide a little bit of shade. Campsite number 12 does go up a little bit of an incline. There aren't a lot of barriers, and most of the campsites are pretty large. Site number 15 had a huge cedar tree to provide some shade. Campsite 19 probably had some of the best shade in the park, which is probably why the camp host is set up there. Given the flat ground, I noted that there were no ADA campsites with concrete, but most of the campsites could be wheelchair accessible as long as it was not muddy, which is not a frequent problem in this area. Refer to the campground worksheet for details on each individual site. Campsite 35 is the last campsite, and it's kind of out in the open with not much shade at all. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the short tour of this historic area, and hopefully the 4K videos of the campsites will help you pick your favorite for your individual likes and needs. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel as we explore all types of campgrounds from the national and state parks across the U.S. to some regional favorites, hidden gems, and dry camping favorites. Until next time, so long.